What is up, everybody? We are doing crit racing on Zwift. We got the Neokyo crit course, category D. Zwift races are notorious for starting super fast right out the gate. Now, luckily on this race, nobody decided to just blow themselves out in the beginning. You can see I get up to about 5.4 watts per kilogram over on the right-hand side. My name's highlighted. You can see the watts per kilogram. Just got a little over 300 watts. Top left will show my watts and my beats per minute of my heart. Top center will show the race itself, how far we've gone, how much further there is to go. This guy does get a little bit of a breakaway in the beginning, but my strategy is just to stay in 5th place for as long as I can, and no person can go 10 miles on their own up front. So I am in no hurry to chase this guy down. He'll naturally get caught up by the rest of the group. The peloton is incredibly strong in Zwift, so I just want to stay about 5th wheel, and I want to soak up that draft, make sure that I'm not hitting anything head on in terms of the wind. You can see my rider right there was in the drop bar position, means he is taking the wind head on. When the rider sits up, that means they are in the draft. So I want to stay in the draft the whole entire time. I don't ever want to be eating wind. Now, these banners will give power-ups. There are 2 power-ups that you can get, either a ghost or a truck. A ghost is going to make you invisible for a couple of seconds, and a truck is going to increase the draft that you're getting from, I believe, other people. So ideally, you want the truck, because the truck's going to make it so you're having to expend less energy. I don't feel like the ghost is worth it enough for the amount of invisibility that you get to make much of a difference. But you'll see at the end, some people do use it pretty correctly. So right here, I just dump my invisibility because it's not going to serve me all that well this early in the race. I don't plan on ever jumping ahead to get solo. I burn it so I can hopefully get a truck on this banner. There are 2 banners that give power-ups. Unfortunately, I get another ghost on that power-up. Now we're going to zoom ahead. Again, my whole strategy is just to stay right about 5th wheel. I've been doing that pretty well for this first lap, and we can see we're coming at the end of lap 1. That green banner, that neon green banner, signifies the start finish line. So my heart rate is just under 170 as I came through there. I was right about 5th to 7th wheel. Everything's going according to plan. Now, I slow it down right here. You can see up ahead, I'm going to zoom in, this guy will just randomly pop up. So he had used his ghost, and during that time he was invisible. He built a little bit of a break. Now, again, my strategy is not to chase anybody down. I'm going to let other people chase him down and drag me along. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people go ahead of me to chase this guy down. And I just sit in their draft. You can see my character is sitting up the whole time, never goes in the drop bars. I just sit in their draft and allow them to drag me up to the main group. So I'm staying with that strategy. I'm never deviating. I don't want to chase anybody down unless it's like crunch time, the last lap. But with us having 2.5 laps to go at that point, I'm not going to chase anybody down. So it's a whole lot of similar through the next couple laps. As we can see, ending lap 2, going into lap 3, my heart rate is slightly elevated, but I'm right in that 7th position. I want to keep my character in that draft as long as I possibly can. And right at this point in this race, as we come over that hump right there, that's where people seem to try and want to cause a breakaway. But coming down, the group bunched back up, and by the time we got to that red pavement area, we were all bunched up again. Coming back into the temple section, there's not anybody that is definitively in the lead of this race. There are a couple of people that have been up front. The guy in the yellow jersey that's, up front right now, he's been taking a lot of that wind the whole time. So again, we come across the line, 4th to 5th place. That's exactly where I want to be. Strategy is going exactly how I want it. Now, I've been getting a couple of ghosts in a row, so I haven't been getting that benefit of the truck and the increased draft. That's going to cause me to use slightly more power than if I got lucky and got trucks the whole time, but it's not going to be that big of a deal. So we're going to watch the last 1.5 miles of this race. We got one guy up front. We got the guy in the yellow jersey in front of, or behind him, and then I'm behind that guy in 3rd place. This guy on my right, me and him are kind of jockeying back and forth for 3rd place. But right here, I don't believe that 2 guys can do 1 2/10 of a mile on their own. I just don't think that 2 people, especially in a D category where people aren't as coordinated, to trade off poles, and it's kind of hard to do that in Zwift anyway. I don't think that they're going to be able to pull that away. So I don't freak out. I try and stay calm. I try not to chase anything down. And again, I'm going to let other people do that brunt work for me. I need to save as much energy as I possibly can as we go into this last mile so I can do the best sprint I possibly can. So I'm letting this guy in front of me drag me up to these other two people. The pace is increasing. If you see in the top left, my watts are slowly climbing up. We're getting higher and higher. I'm using more watts per kilogram. This is where people are putting down the hammer. This is where the action started. This is the second time I've done this race. The last time I did this race, the action kind of went down with only a half mile to go. This one started a whole mile and a half where people started to try and break away. So we got this guy on the Tron bike. He's up out of the saddle, pushing really, really hard. But again, I'm like, we're 7/10 of a mile. I don't know if that man can sustain that pace for that long. The peloton is incredibly strong in Zwift. It is so hard to break away in Zwift. I got a couple people in front of me that are going to chase him down. The guy in the yellow jersey is. A couple of guys are blowing their trucks to get better drafting, save a little of energy, try and catch up to that guy that broke away. He was in a blue jersey, and I am letting these people drag me along. Now, I am considered a slightly heavier rider at 177 pounds, so I get a huge benefit on the downhill compared to a guy that might only be 160 pounds. I don't know the weights of everybody around me, but the heavier you are, the harder the uphills are, but the faster you can go on the downhill. So I knew that this section is like the steepest downhill on this course, and I could gain some positions. And you can see we had -3%. My weight carried me forward, and I'm able to catch up. I am now in second position. So that guy in the blue jersey is very likely off the front. He did what I didn't think he could do, but we got about 800 feet left. I get out of the saddle. I start pushing. I really want a podium. I'm 5th place. I'm trying to stay in the draft of these two guys as long as I possibly can, but push to get ahead of them. And you'll see up in the top right-hand corner, it goes from like 3rd to 4th, 3rd to 4th, 3rd to 4th. There might be a guy that's a ghost. I get that ghost right at the end. You can see he might pop up there. I think it was that guy in the orange. And I get 3rd place podium on this crit Neokyo City Crit course. Second time I've tried this race. So I was able to get a podium, give thumbs up to everybody. You can see this race was 10.3 miles, took a little over 26 minutes. I averaged 196 watts, and my average heart rate was 174 beats per minute. I was absolutely spent at the end of this. Just completely huffing and puffing, but super excited to get a podium. I love Zwift racing. I love the fact that they have the separate categories, so I feel like I can compete and keep up with the people in the D category, score a podium here or there. Excited for when I win my first one, but super glad to podium. Last time I did this race, I came in 5th. Making progress. So catch y'all next time. More Zwift action to come. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.